Let's set some unrealistic expectations. We just watched the second trailer for Deadpool and Wolverine. But no. This video is not going to be me speculating, looking at the trailer, saying, oh, that means this is happening, this is happening. No. This is my wish list for Deadpool and Wolverine. Now, we know this movie is both the third Deadpool movie, maybe the last Wolverine movie, although probably not, and some sort of like big finale to the Fox X-Men universe. That's something that has been very clear since filming began. And as we saw in this trailer, there's a big 20th Century Fox logo behind Wolverine and Deadpool when they fight. So like this movie feels like that's what this is. It's almost like the Avengers Endgame for that universe. Not to say that we'll have a big Endgame fight or something like that, but it has that same kind of season finale feeling that Endgame had. And by the way, I haven't mentioned I'm wearing my Wolverine claw hands that I got from my sister for Christmas. So I'm getting plenty of use out of them this year. But I have a list of a bunch of things that might happen in this movie. I would say some of them are probably more likely than others. I'll start with a very likely one. But these are just things that I want to see in this movie. This is pretty much pure fan service. And this comes from, like, I don't know, one of the biggest fans of these Fox X-Men movies. X2 is my favorite movie, I think. Overall, it changes, but like it's up there. I love this franchise for all of its flaws. Obviously, I'm a huge X-Men fan, comics and TV shows and stuff like that. But like, man, I grew up on these movies. So this being this big grand finale to them, there's a couple things I'd like to see. Like, first one, this is the easy one. I want the fastball special. People that don't know, it's this move where a big, strong guy, usually Colossus, not strong guy over there, although he's done it before, but like a big, strong mutant character, usually Colossus, picks up a smaller, dangerous mutant, usually Wolverine, and tosses him. Like, it's called the fastball special, even though if anything, it feels more like a Hail Mary kind of, because it's like an over-the-shoulder kind of pass. Like, everybody's done it in the comics with Wolverine. Other characters have done it. It kind of happens in X-Men 3, The Last Stand, where Colossus does like a heave. And, I get it. It's the version that we got in those movies, but I would like one that's more like proper. And honestly, I think it's easy because we have the Colossus in this universe. It's big enough to pick up Wolverine, and we have Wolverine. And I think Deadpool will probably say at some point, like, oh, you guys do a fastball special. Like, I feel like that will be a line of Deadpool's. These are not predictions. These are just things I would like to happen. That was number one, fastball special. Number two, okay. So it seems like we're going to have a lot of villains in this that are just random villains from old X-Men movies. I have a hard time believing one of them will not be Toad. Mostly because maybe there's a character that looks like that in the background. I don't know. But like mostly because like he's a great little enforcer villain. He's got a fun little power. Everybody recognizes him. He was in both universes. He was in X-Men 1, and then he was also in Days of Future Past very briefly as a fry cook. So like we could have that character come back, or the Ray Park character. It doesn't matter. But I would love to see a Toad moment. But what I want to see is some take on what happens to a Toad who gets struck by lightning. Same thing that happens to everybody else. Now, throughout the video, I'll throw out some options for these. I don't think these are like the greatest versions of these that could exist. This is just like kind of a sketch for a joke that I could see working this way. Have Deadpool, like, I don't know, be taunting Toad or fighting Toad. Have him say something like, hey, Toad, do you know what happens to a Toad that gets hit by a big Ant-Man skull? And then Toad's like, what? And then we kind of, I don't know, maybe Toad turns around, sees the skulls kind of flying over the air, lands on him. Halle Berry Storm walks out. Same thing that happens to everything else. And says that line in the matter-of-fact way that it was written. If Joss Whedon was still cool, which I don't think he is, honestly, it's really hard to keep track. But I'm pretty sure he's not. But if he was, then you would probably even have Deadpool say, like, there you go, Joss, got you covered. Like, she did the line properly. Not that I think it's Halle Berry's fault. Another thing, this is a small thing, I just want Alan Cumming Nightcrawler back. That was one of my favorite characters. Maybe it's because he was only in X-Men 2, and that's my favorite one of these. So, he's the only character that's only in that movie and then never really showed up again. I don't know what you'd have to do. I don't know if Alan Cumming would even want to do this anymore. He's having a lot of fun with traders. Maybe you'd put like the blue body paint on him for a day. Maybe you'd CGI it. I'm okay with CGIing it in instances like this. Like, it's, on one hand, it's like a fun cameo. I'd rather have a pretty good CGI version than a flawless, getting their skin all drawn up version that he hates. I think we just, kind of got to go with it. But I think having him show up would be very cool, especially because it seems like Azazel's in this. So like a teleporter fight could be cool. I don't know. I mean, they have other teleporters, but they're the main two. Speaking of characters from other movies, I would love to see Colossus from this universe hang out with Magic from New Mutants, the Anya Taylor-Joy version. I think it's very unlikely that we will see her, even though she's definitely the best part of that movie. And like Magic as a character has kind of become the most consequential part of that team, and that she's like a fan favorite character. So, you know, if there was one new mutant it would make sense to bring over, I think it would be her. But on the other side, like, I don't know, it just feels like people just don't like that movie, for rightly so. Like, they're, you know, they're not wrong. But I do think that we have a Colossus who's about the right age and a Magic who's kind of about the right age for that sibling dynamic to work. And I don't know, I just like to see them together. That'd be cool. Speaking of Magic, there's this scene at the end of the trailer where Wolverine and Deadpool jump into a big Doctor Strange magic portal thing. Now, I think it would be fun if that happened and it was like Doctor Strange and you put him in a portal. I've heard people say they want him to like show up in Avengers Endgame and like redo bits of the Endgame fight, I guess, and I don't like that. I think this would have to be more of a like escaping from Cassandra Nova kind of last minute, oh cool, portal opens up and then we go somewhere safe. But what I would like maybe from this, because sure, Doctor Strange could do this, Wong could do this, you know, Ned, America Chavez, there's a couple characters that could open one of these portals, but there are also a couple mutants that could do it. Anya Taylor-Joy Magic could do it. She can open portals. Also, Blink, Fan Bang Bang Blink can totally do this. And she was in Days of Future Past. Fans like that character. I mean, I like Blink. I don't think that character in the movie did all that much, although I do think visually it was a very cool, you know, version of the teleporter power. So I think it would be cool if what happened in that trailer was like a version of what will really happen, which is they'll jump through a portal, but because they wanted to hide that they're going to jump to like the X-Men stronghold or something, they want to hide that it was the Blink version of that trailer. I don't know, that would be cool. It probably will be that what they were hiding was just where they're going, because you usually can see the destination in the portal. But I don't know, that just would have been fun. Other people that could meet, Havoc and Scott. It seems like maybe James Marsden and Scott will be in this. I would like to see him fighting alongside the Havoc from First Class and that generation of X-Men. I know the age doesn't match up. It would just be cool. I don't know. I'm not that invested in that one. But speaking of Cyclops, I think we have to get a line. I think we have to do two lines in this. When Wolverine and Deadpool meet the Cyclops, I think it makes sense too, because it seems like this is a Wolverine who did the Old Man Logan thing for whatever reason, but accidentally killed all of his X-Men. It's like, especially if you see someone like Cyclops, you maybe wouldn't believe it. So I would like him to say, prove that you're Cyclops, and then Cyclops to say, you're a dick. And then they go, yeah, okay, I remember that. And then on the same token, I would love it if like he or Deadpool was like kind of thrown by the actual cool Cyclops outfit. It was like any version of the classic Cyclops costume, probably the Jim Lee costume, just because those are always the best. If he says that, he's, oh my god, what are you wearing? And then Cyclops says, would you prefer black leather? I don't know, that'd be fun. This is another thing, Vanessa needs to get powers. It's easy to forget that Vanessa's a part of these, and she's an X-Men who has a superpower. She's copycat, she can mimic, she's like Mystique and Morph and all these guys. They're all a little bit different in that they all have different variations of this power, and I genuinely can't remember. I think hers is one of the more like OP ones, if I remember correctly. I think she maybe can copy mutant powers in a way that Mystique cannot. I don't remember, but whatever it is, like, she's doing this. They show up in the final fight. This is something that comes up in my Deadpool 3 pitch, which if you've never seen, I would watch it because it's got a lot of stuff like this in it, although it's very different because just the setting and the premise are different from what this movie seems like it's going to be. Oh yeah, Deadpool should meet Rob Liefeld. He's still alive, I think, as of recording of this video, and like, he's involved in comics. I'm pretty sure he even tweeted about the little Rob Liefeld joke in the trailer for this. If I were writing maybe the perfect version of it, I would say just have some suit up montage where they get Wolverine his cool costume that is cool, and like there's different people that are giving him stuff, and the Rob Liefeld guy gives him a shoe, and he's the guy that makes the shoes, and Deadpool can like kind of dwell on it and be like, really, you? And you're very good at covering up feet, all right, actually. And then pick it up, and it would be a weird triangular foot, like all the Rob Liefeld images. And I don't know. Maybe you put it on, and then immediately a big cloud of dust would cover up your foot. And you'd like Pigpen from Charlie Brown. I don't know. I just think Rob Liefeld has been name dropped now once, and then brought up in the Deadpool 2. So might as well just have him come in, you know? It'd be fun. Speaking of Rob Liefeld, in that shot, we also end up seeing Dogpool, which is a variant of Deadpool that is a dog. I'm sure we'll get some fight scene involving Dogpool. I could see a version of Dogpool where Deadpool just tosses Dogpool at someone and it like eats them like a big, monster, kind of like the rabbit in, Monty Python. But also, I think it could be fun to just see the dog running around with a pistol in its mouth shooting people. And like, we don't even see, like, it's not like aiming, it's just how its mouth, but it's like holding it. And you can see just people's heads getting blown off. And you're like, this guy's pretty cool. This dog can kill lots of guys. That'd be cool. Oh, okay. So let's say we do get cameos from some X-Men. One thing that I've always wanted that we never got is, forget about the costumes. I do think it would be great if we got the right costumes. Like, I want to see Rogue show up in any of the good Rogue costumes. You could even do like one of the Rogue costumes I'm not a humongous fan of, like the what's it called? The Extreme X-Men costume, right? Just anything but the black leather that's one color and is not fun. But whatever it is, if Rogue shows up in the final fight, I would imagine played by Anna Paquin, I want her to steal a power and use it offensively. She never does that. In the original series, there's no point where Rogue like takes Pyro's power and uses it to fight Magneto or something. That would be an example. Like, there's moments where she takes a power, like takes it from Magneto, or mostly takes it from Pyro, but uses it just to turn all the fire off. But like, I would love to see her fighting a couple members of the Brotherhood, fighting, say, I don't know, who'd have a power that you could like, Azazel would be a good one. Get close to Azazel, maybe Nightcrawler teleports her over, steals his power, turns red, and then just starts teleporting as part of her bit. Because I do think that like, those movies never got that fun part of Rogue. And I think Anna Paquin like deserves a moment because she was such a big part of those first two and kind of the third one, but definitely the first one like was mostly about her. And she's in a lot of the parts of the second one that are also really good. And her character was always very close with Wolverine. She was one of the lone wolf and cubs from those movies, basically the main one. So like, I think we could probably afford to give her a big cool moment like that. It seemed like that was what the Days of Future Past like Rogue cut was gonna be, and then it wasn't, but something like that could work. And like, I mean, there's other people that I want to see, like Daphne Keane, obviously, but I think I wouldn't say she's like a safe bet. It feels like she will show up in this movie. But I guess with her, it's like she's done all the stuff I want her to do. Done like cool jumping and fit. But like, Rogue is just maybe out of all of these X-Men in terms of powers, the one with the coolest power who's done the least with it on screen. Maybe. There's probably others, but she's up there. Oh, I want to see the fetus fight, by the way. I think we have to see that. Cassandra Nova and Charles Xavier were twins in the womb, and Professor X noticed that she was evil. She was like an evil spirit, a Mama Rondai or something. I don't know. It's one of those words that I've read a bunch and never pronounced. And in my head, I know how it sounds, but like, I could be way off. But whatever that is. He recognizes she's evil and like strangles her with their umbilical cords. I imagine her deal in this will be that like that's usually what happens, but in this version, her variant thing is she didn't get strangled. She killed the Professor X. She got born in this universe, and then the TVA like tried to kill her. They barely pruned her. She landed in the void, but now she's so powerful, she's taken over the void and she threatens to take over everything. Something like that. I would love to see the fetus fight. Just see two fetuses going at it, punching each other, choking each other. I don't know, that'd be funny. That's the kind of thing that's like, it's not like funny in like a ha-ha silly joke way, but it's just like, wow, you're doing that. That's pretty wild. I would appreciate that. Oh, I want to see Blob. It seems like we're getting Toad. We definitely got Pyro because he was in the other trailer. So like Blob, Toad, and Pyro, those are my big three members of the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, and I don't think we need to have like a full Brotherhood because it's Magneto's not in charge. So, but if we're doing all of the villains around each other, we had a very good Pyro, kind of. I mean, he wasn't like Australian, but we had a Pyro that was fun and was a big part of those movies. We had a Toad that I think was very memorable in that first movie, and then we did get a good Blob later in X-Men Origins Wolverine. I would love to see those three actors and like those three characters just be able to share the screen. I don't know, I think it would be cool. This is more of a story one for me. I want the TVA to get destroyed. I'm done with the TVA. It seems like they maybe are the bad guys because a lot of the trailers so far involve Wolverine and Deadpool killing TVA goons. But like, even if they're not, I do think, especially with Loki where he is, with Owen Wilson and Sylvie out of the TVA, like, there's no reason for this to exist anymore. And if anything, it's kind of making some of the rest of this less fun. It's like when some story happens, like, oh, the universe might get destroyed. It's like, well, it wouldn't, because the TVA is good now. They would take care of it. And it seems like they are bad. I don't think they brought in, Matthew McFadden to be a good, trustworthy guy. So I imagine he's going to be some sort of, evil double dealer, whatever. And I just hope that whatever they do with that is, satisfying. I think that could be cool. This is just me again, but this is one that like we've not seen any Domino. I think Zazie Beetz Domino was one of the best pieces of casting in any of the Fox X-Men movies. And she was super fun and memorable in Deadpool 2. Power worked really well. Loved her energy that she brought to the X-Force thing. And I just hope that she has some sort of presence in this. Like maybe, she's not in the beginning bit with the birthday party or whatever. But like I hope that there's some moment where she shows up. Because I did really like her in that role. And it'd be a shame if we didn't see more of her. All right, last two. One, I think it'd be funny. This is a joke I could see going into it. If Jean Grey is there, I would imagine the Famke Janssen one, just because Sophie Turner is just not as popular. But I think it'd be funny if Deadpool is like, all right, Jean, now use your Phoenix powers and melt Cassandra Nova or whatever. And then Jean's like, I don't have the Phoenix power. I've given it up. It's gone. Or maybe it's a different Jean and she's like, yeah, I haven't done that yet. And then Deadpool can turn to the camera and be like, seriously, the one time we're not rushing the Dark Phoenix story? Thanks a lot, Feige. And then that's it. Because I think it'll be fun. I love that they always do Dark Phoenix. All right, last thing. This is something that I should have added to my Deadpool 3 pitch. I hadn't thought about it until later, and I didn't want to make a full video that's just like, here's a 2-minute little bit that I think should have been in it. But okay. So my Deadpool 3 pitch, to spoil it, ends with an Avengers Assemble moment for the X-Men. Do I think we'll get something like that here? Maybe, but I'm not guaranteeing it. But I do think there's a really good opportunity, whether they're going to do it or not, for a joke in that area. And this is the joke. This is how I would set up the scene. Wolverine and Deadpool have just fought through a bunch of Cassandra Nova's goons, or whoever the big bad guy is, and whatever they're using as goons, so Sentinels or TVA soldiers or other mutants or whatever. And then there's like reinforcements show up, and they're really tired, just like Captain America in Endgame. And they're like about to be dead, and then maybe this is Deadpool, and in your piece here, it's like on your left comes up, and then it's Colossus, and it's Negasonic and Yukio, and they come through a portal. And we frame this exactly the same way everything in Avengers Endgame was framed, like the Cap's reaction and their reaction nodding and stuff. So that would be done with Deadpool. And then out of the portal would fly Angel, and Angel would come up, and again, like Deadpool would be like, oh, and then you'd see Angel fly across the sky, but then none of the portals would open. And then the music would kind of slow down. Angel would end next to the guys. Colossus, Yukio, and Negasonic would come over, and Colossus would be like, here you go, we got you one. And Deadpool would be like, who's this? It's like, I'm Angel. Well, you're Angel? I thought Angel was a girl. That's a different Angel. He is one of the original X-Men, Wade. Is he? I don't think he is. Well, technically I wasn't like one of the original X-Men, but I was there for a very pivotal part of the story. Okay, well, like, what can you do? I can fly, but like, what else? I don't know, I can like throw stuff at Cassandra Nova, like this pipe, like picks up a pipe, and I'm like, all right, well, you go do that, and then they all do the real fight, and then maybe the real like Avengers Assemble moment happens. But that would be a fun little bit. Like that would be the parody version of this. Is instead of actually Falcon opening up the portals, it's just Angel and nothing. And I think it would be, I don't know, I think it'd be pretty cool. Then, especially because the joke is just like the Deadpool gets the worst reinforcements. Maybe then like Wolverine's headset could go, and he'd be like, oh man, I got some X-Men reinforcements too. And then all the portals would open, and every single X-Men from any movie showed up. And he's like, yeah, see, they come. If you call them, if you're nice, they like you, and they bring you, they help you out. But I guess if you insult them and call them weird names and stuff all the time, they don't like to hang out with you. I couldn't imagine why that would be. But that would be fun. These are all wish list things. We can check back in on this in July. Whenever this movie comes out, we'll come back, go, hey, oh, that happened, this didn't happen. But this is not predictions. These are not things I think will happen. These are just things that in my heart, as a humongous X-Men fan, I would love to see. But I'm very excited about this trailer. I'm hyped. I'm excited to go buy everything, all the toys, all the stuff, all the action figures. It's going to be hard to not buy all of them. I'm going to go to this movie, and hopefully it'll be good. And if it's disappointing, it'll be a real bummer. But besides that, I'll see you guys around for more fun X-Men stuff and Marvel stuff. And this channel is the Nando Cut. My other channel is called Nando V Movies. I'll see you around. Goodbye.